Many people from around the world eat unhealthy. Many people never look at the side with vegetables, even though so many people like them. This can lead to a disease called diabetes. There can be so many problems and bad effects to do with diabetes, like bad eyesight and heart attacks, and more big changes you have to make. I think people should start eating healthy before they get the disease of diabetes. If you already have diabetes, do you like the results in your life that are going on? Many people seem to eat the sugar, which cause the bad effects and problems. More than 18.2 million people, or 6.3%.
Yes.
We have a package down here for Karen Others. You can come and get it.
Okay, thank you.
Percent of the population in the United States have diabetes. People get a lot of bad effects from diabetes that can cause even more. Once you start to get something, it can lead on to more and more problems in life. I have 2 effects that can happen from getting diabetes. One effect you can get is bad eyesight. Each year, 12,000 to 24,000 people lose their sight because of diabetes. Eyesight is created from the sugar that passes on through your body if you have diabetes. Too much sugar from your body is created and flows to the lens of the eye, causing blurriness, which never to see. The high levels of blood sugar can also damage your vessels that supply to your tissue, which then leads to bad eyesight. Another effect from diabetes and eating too much sugar can cause many heart attacks. Many people who have diabetes with sugar lead to the heart, which gives a heart attack. Once you have a heart attack, you have to take medicine and have surgery or may not live under the circumstances. There are 2 types of diabetes known. One is type 1 and another is called type 2. Type 1 diabetes is getting diabetes from someone ahead in your family and naturally getting high sugar in your body without even eating a lot of sugar. Type 2 is just eating too much sugar, which then gets caused in your blood. Does someone in your family have diabetes? In my family, my grandma has diabetes and had to make a big change to her life. Since she has eaten sugar and gotten diabetes, she has to take a lot of tests and could not live her life the same exact way as she used to. Since my grandma has gotten diabetes, she has had blurry eyesight and has to get shots in her eyes for blood tests. She also has to stay off sugar, which she absolutely loves. My grandma wishes she had never eaten unhealthy and gotten diabetes. I'm now the protector of my grandma. I have to tell her to stop and listen. I have to tell her to resist sugar and live. I have to make her fight through it and clearly see what will happen when you eat more sugar. There's also a girl named Victoria who has diabetes. Since someone in her family has gotten diabetes and it led to her, she complains she has to take supplies everywhere with her friends and in general. She also has to get a lot of shots in her eyes, which are very painful. She also states she has to count carbs for every meal she eats, and if she does not take enough insulin, she feels gross and more ill than ever. Now that she has diabetes, she has to do so many things to help herself because her parents have led diabetes onto her. There is also another big reason that could affect so many things in life: centuries of diabetes. Once someone in a family has diabetes, other people can catch on with it within your genes. Many people who get diabetes, who could have a kid, could get their very own kid of diabetes disease just as they're born. Just as they're born. If that happens in life, your kids may not succeed the way they need to or you want them to. The baby might be in bad hands right now, and you will have to do something to stop diabetes before it leads for centuries and centuries with people getting stuck with bad reasons to live. Once you get diabetes and once you have diabetes, you have to protect yourself and get the good treatments even if they hurt, like treatments for eyesight and heart attacks. You're not going to want to get more problems and bad effects in life than you might already have. Eat healthy and don't get diabetes. Thank you.
Do you have any questions for Paris? Do you have any questions for Paris?
Is eating unhealthy the only way to get diabetes?
Well, I mean, also, if you exercise and do other stuff that could also keep away from diabetes.
Didn't you in your talk about type 1 and type 2?
Yeah.
Could you maybe review those definitions?
So type 1 diabetes is just like getting diabetes from someone in your family just naturally, and you can't really do anything about it.
It's like you're born. Are you saying like you're born with it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's one, Jake. And then what's the other, Paris?
Just eating too much sugar, which gets diabetes.
Interesting.
Eden?
So, I have a friend who has diabetes and has type 1, but she wasn't born with it. She got it later in life when she was in like 1st or 2nd grade. So is it always when you're born with it, or could it just come on like during life? Like even if you don't eat bad?
It can come on.
You know what? I have a connection too. My dad has it, type 1, and he got it later in life. So I think it's almost like how some things you're born with it, but you don't notice it until later. You know, like, and I think that's kind
it
of
just gets worse going on, and then finally, you know.
that's what it sounds like. Cool. Other questions? Yeah. Oh yeah, lots of other questions. This is great. It means you have a good topic for you.
Why were you passionate about this?
I was passionate because since my grandma has diabetes, I kind of wanted to do a talk about that she had to make a big change to her life, and I'm kind of relating to all the stuff she has to do, maybe to so other people will know.
Nice.
Justin?
I thought type 1 was just like for kids.
No, it could be for anyone really. Even when they're older, they can always just get diabetes.
Sounds like I don't know, but is it possible that maybe type 1 is more common in kids? I don't know. Maybe that would be something good to research. If you're curious about it, because you know it's good to know facts like that. I don't think in science there's not very many, or in health I should say, there's not many like always answers. There's a lot of the time this would happen, or some of the time this will happen. So you might want to look up. There's probably, I'm sure there's like statistics numbers on that. That's a great question.
My cousin has type 1 diabetes, and I see he always has to walk around with like the equipment things. Yeah.
So he has kind of a device that gives him his medication.
And then he always has to have like snacks in case his blood sugar gets too low. So I just think it's kind of like, they don't just they have to be more responsible to make sure that they make sure that we
Paris, what have you noticed about that? Like now that you have some experience with diabetes, what is, not personally clearly, but with in your family, what changes have you noticed that your family as a whole has had to make?
Oh, well, we have to now tell her to don't keep eating sugar, otherwise, because it makes a big impact on our family too, because now that she has diabetes, we have to help her a lot too, and it's not just her helping herself.
I bet you it's made you think differently about the way you eat too, right? Like I know that because my dad has diabetes, I think differently about the way I eat too. I always think about oh, that could happen to me someday. I need to make sure I'm really taking good care of myself, you know. Now that you're having an impact on a room of people, they can change their thinking too. All right, we have time for two more questions. Two different questions. If you have a question that's very similar to something that's already been asked, try and save it for later. If you have a really different question, keep your hand up and Paris will choose two more.
I think your topic is really cool because you get to put yourself in someone else's shoes who has diabetes, and you can see how it's like and what their hardships are. So I think that's a really cool topic.
Great compliment.
And
I noticed in one of your pictures, you had a picture of a heart that had like a little extra red stuff on the side. What was that?
I was trying to make that a heart attack, but
It's kind of like symbolic of like that a heart is very unhealthy. It sounds like. Yeah.
yeah.
Good. Good. All right. Awesome. One final round of applause for Sarah. What's that? All right. So let's all. Paris, where are you sitting? Paris, where are you sitting, sweetie? Hey, Paris. Where are you sitting? Where are you sitting? We'll have them send them to you instead of you having to collect them.
Oh, I'm sitting over there.
Okay, why don't we send them back that way towards Paris? Okay, Paris, great job. That was outstanding. Outstanding work. We're going to transition in just a second, guys.